All right, and welcome back. We are here post-game following the New York Red Bulls 2-1 win, another 2-1 win against FC Dallas here in their home opener. A very interesting game, not just for us who had to cover this game in extreme weather. I would say probably one of the worst rainstorms I've been a part of here at Red Bull Arena, but also just another tale of two halves, right? Much like the game in Houston. First half seemed great, except for just one goal. And then the second half, not so good. The team acknowledged it. They're Sandro knows, Emil Forsberg knows. It's a little bit mind-boggling how it just turns on its head so quickly. JJ, what was your assessment?
Uh, Houston? Well, no. New York? We have a forward problem. Yet again, the forwards were absolutely. What's the best word for this?
Invisible?
Invisible, yeah. Non existent. You could see in the midfield both Emil and Lewis were getting frustrated with the forwards. There was a lot of chatting back and forth, trying to get them to see runs that were there that they just were not getting to. It's basically last year's story. If the midfield doesn't score, this team doesn't go anywhere. The only real difference from last year's team, besides a little bit of luck with get the goals going in, is that we actually have a really tight defense back there with Sean, who he could not have been more than 10% tonight.
He
And
was
yet
moving
he
slow.
still shut down the middle with Noah with ease. Didn't matter whether they had to go aerial, on the ground. Even when he had to pivot, as much as it hurt, he was able to get there and get that ball moving. And as usual, our one wing position, who I don't think needs to be named anymore, we all know who it is, just can't keep up with our center backs. It's still that same side, and Sandro's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, but the one good news is Lewis Morgan, who made his first start in this game, looked fantastic. He moved great. He played about, I would say, a little bit over 70 minutes in this one. Scored a goal, drew the other goal by getting the penalty, handing off to Emil Forsberg so he can get his first goal in a Red Bull shirt. It's interesting, right? He's wearing that number 9 shirt. He is not playing in the number 9 position, but he is the best striking option that this team has right now, all things considered. I mean, I was talking to you in the middle of the game. I said, like, why not? Why not play him up top at this point? Because he's making the right runs. He's making the right passes. He's doing all of that hard work. Why not at this point?
$1 million question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because the wins are coming, you really can't press Sandro on it, because his response will be, well, what I'm doing is working.
And he's
not
he's
totally
not wrong. Yeah, he's not
but
wrong.
he's also not totally right either. We both know there were several chances for that ball to go the other way in those final minutes, and we're talking a tie or a loss instead of a 2-1 victory.
And to be fair, he's not deluded about it.
Yeah, no, he
they
will
all
acknowledge
acknowledge that there was a major problem in the second half of the game.
Definitely admitted to it during this press conference that, look, yeah, we won, but there are holes that need to get fixed. The glaring thing in the last 2 games is, if not for Lewis Morgan, what would this team's record be? He's been responsible for the last 4 goals scored by the New York Red Bull.
Well, it's 2022 all over again, right? He was the team's leading scorer. He really got everything going. There were some other pieces around that contributed a little bit more than what we've seen so far. You have to expect eventually Emil Forsberg is going to be giving that more, that little bit more. You know, he's been hitting some posts. He's been, he did convert this penalty. Not the greatest of penalties we saw, but it went in. That's all that matters.
Hydroplane?
Yeah. But aside from that, you look at the rest of that strike roster, and you're not seeing much there. Corey Burke, to his credit, did come on and moved a lot better than I thought Elias Manuel did at the end of the game. He had a goal that was chalked off to offside, so that's a positive. That's the first time we've seen Corey Burke on the field since preseason. So maybe there's something there, but either way, we do know that this team does have a striker problem, and they are going to have to address it at some point.
Yeah, Unfortunately, on that offside goal, if he had missed that, it probably would have been embarrassing since there was nobody there with him. He
Yeah.
literally could have walked that one in. Unfortunately, he was a good chunk off by the time before the ball got to him. He was making better runs than Elias, but he was also making the same mistakes as Elias. Both of them had chances in the box, and, well, they found the goalkeeper. Not their job.
Yeah, but look. At the end of the day, we're kind of nitpicking this team
Yeah.
apart. This is at this point 7 points out of a possible 9.
Correct.
I don't think you could have. I mean, you could have a better start. You could be 9 out of 9.
Could be 9.
But your new coach, new players, new team. This is a pretty darn good start when you think about it, especially with some of the games coming up. They're going to Columbus next week. After that, Inter Miami's coming into town. Even if you, let's say, worst case scenario, you lose both of those games, you still got that great cushion. You still got that 7 points to start the season. Not half bad.
Honestly, the big challenges are going to start with Columbus. You got Columbus, Inter Miami, FC Cincinnati,
I believe it's somewhere in that. Yeah.
Toronto, Chicago,
Yeah.
Orlando. I think until you get to April 13th against NYCFC, it's pretty much the top of the top.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a real test. Let's see how long they can go without the forwards contributing. Can Morgan and Forsberg keep it up? Let's hope so. The back line hasn't been an issue. It's just been how can we get the forwards to be the forwards that we're paying for? Dante Van Zier is not cheap. He came in at over $5 million. We've seen him more injured or on the bench than we have on the pitch.
Yeah, it's worth noting too. He did not play. He was not even on the bench. Was not dressed for this game.
Which is concerning because the last time that happened, he missed a stretch of 3 or 4 games. Training will obviously follow up if we don't see him out there to see what his status is going. Zach just runs by. Good sprint, Zach. It's.
We are in the middle of the hallway at Red Bull Arena right now.
The reason we are able to nitpick like this is because the expectations are so high and the issues are that tight. This team could be technically in the same boat as NYCFC, except they've gotten Lewis Morgan to contribute and we've gotten the goals. And like Sandro said, look, it's a great 3 points. It'll help in the standings, but there are major issues that need to be addressed moving forward because not all the time is that luck going to go on your side. The team is better than last year. Though at times we do see last year's play sneak in, especially in that last 15 tonight. Especially that last 5 was just.
It could have been a lot worse when it comes to the scoreline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, next week is going to be the real test. Columbus is going to be that team, but for now, it's a 2-1 win. It's another 2-1 win, and more points for the club. Any other parting words before we decide to drive home and get home after midnight?
I think that's about it. This is the starting 11. We will be doing this for the Red Bull, possibly Gotham. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll get you guys up to date on training, on the health of the Red Bull, which seems to be a yearly thing with the injury report.
Yep.
And its laundry list in length. But we'll keep you up to date and on to Columbus.
Yes, on to Columbus. And remember, you can read all of our stuff, Bad Dog Sports. What's the URL again?
It's www.bad-dogsports.com.
And you can read all of my stuff at redbullnewsnetwork.com. Take care, and we will talk to you soon.